Welcome, everybody. How are you today? I hope everyone's having a good day. Today, we're going to be reading a story that has to deal with, you know what these ears are? What animal? A rabbit. So, we're going to read a story from Dr. Seuss about a rabbit, a bear, and a worm. I wonder if you've read that story before. Not many people have. Some people have never even heard about that story. But this story is called The Big Brag. Now, if somebody brags, that means that they are saying how good they are, that they're so great, they're so good at this and that. That's bragging. So bragging isn't necessarily a good thing. So let's read the story, The Big Brag, by Dr. Seuss. The rabbit felt mighty important that day on top of the hill in the sun where he lay. He felt so important up there on that hill that he stared in bragging as animals will. And he boasted out loud as he threw out his chest. Of all the beasts in the world, I'm the best. On land and on sea, even up in the sky, no animal lives who is better than I. That's bragging.
Oh, what's that?
Growled a voice that was terribly gruff.
Now why would you say such ridiculous stuff?
The rabbit looked down and he saw a big bear.
I'm best of the beasts,
said the bear.
and so there.
Now who's bragging? Now the bear's bragging, right? You're not, snapped the rabbit. I'm better than you.
Pooh!
The bear snorted.
Again, I say pooh! You talk mighty big, Mr. Rabbit, that's true. But how can you prove it? Just what can you do?
Thought the rabbit. Now, what can I do? He thought and he thought. Then he finally said, Mr. Bear, do you see these two ears on my head? My ears are so keen and so sharp and so fine. My ears in the world, no ears in the world can hear further than mine.
Humph!
The bear grinned. He looked at each ear.
You say they are good,
said the bear with a sneer.
but how do I know just how far they can hear?
I'll prove, said the rabbit. My ears are the best. You sit there and watch me. I'll prove it by test. Then he stiffened his ears till they both stood up high and pointed straight up at the blue of the sky. He stretched his ears open as wide as he could. Shh, I'm listening, he said as he stood. He listened so hard that he started to sweat, and the fur on his ears and his forehead got wet. For 7 long minutes he stood. Then he stirred, and he said to the bear, Do you know what I heard? Do you see that far mountain? It's 90 miles off. There's a fly on that mountain. I just heard him cough. Now, the cough of the fly, sir, is quite hard to hear. when he's 90 miles off, but I heard it's quite clear. You see, bragged the rabbit, it's perfectly true that my ears are the best, so I'm better than you. The bear for a moment just sulked as he sat, for he knew that his ears couldn't hear things like that.
This rabbit, he thought, made a fool out of me. Now I've got to prove that I'm better than he.
So he said to the rabbit,
You hear pretty well. You can hear 90 miles, but how far can you smell? I'm the greatest of smellers, he bragged. See my nose? This nose on my face is the finest that grows. My nose can smell anything but both far and near. With my nose, I can smell twice as far as you hear.
So the bear saying that he can smell even further than the rabbit can hear. You can't, snapped the rabbit.
I can,
growled the bear, and he stuck his big nose way up high in the air. He wiggled that nose, and he sniffed and he sniffed. He waggled that nose, and he whiffed and he woofed. For more than 10 minutes he snaffed and he snuffed. Then he said to the rabbit,
I've smelled far enough.
All right, said the rabbit. Come on now and tell exactly how far is the smell that you smell.
Oh, I'm smelling a very far smell, said the bear. Away past that fly on the mountain out there. I'm smelling past many great mountains beyond. 600 miles more to the edge of a pond.
Wow. So 90 plus 600 miles. Ooh, that's 690 miles that he can smell. That's pretty far.
And way, way out there by the pond you can see is a very small farm. On the farm is a tree. On the tree is a branch. On the branch is a nest. A very small nest where 2 tiny eggs rest. 2 hummingbird eggs, only half an inch long. But my nose, said the bear, is so wonderfully strong. My nose is so good that I smell without fail. That the egg on the left is a little bit stale. And that is the thing that no rabbit can do. So you see, the bear boasted, I'm better than you. My smeller's so keen that it just can't be beat.
What's that? Called a voice from way down by his feet. The bear and the rabbit looked down at the sound, and they saw an old worm crawling out of the ground. Now, boys, said the worm, you've been bragging a lot. You both think you're great, but I think you are not. You're not half as good as the fellow like me. You hear and you smell, but how far can you see? Now I'm here to prove to you, big boasting guys, that your nose and your ears aren't as good as my eyes. And the little old worm cocked his head to one side, and he opened his eyes, and he opened them wide. And then he looked far away with a strange sort of state, as if they were burning 2 holes in the air. And the eyes of that worm almost popped from his head. He stared half an hour till his eyelids got red.
That's enough, growled the bear. Tell the rabbit and me, how far do you look, and just what did you see?
"Well, boys," the worm answered, "that look that I took was a look that looked farther than you'll ever look. I looked across the ocean, way out to Japan, for I can see farther than anyone can. There's no one on earth who has eyesight that's finer. I looked past Japan, then I looked across China. I looked across Egypt, then took a quick glance across the two countries of Holland and France. Then I looked across England and also Brazil, but I didn't stop there. I looked much farther still. And I kept right on looking and looking until I looked round the world and right back to this hill. And I saw on this hill, since my eyesight's so keen, the two biggest fools that have ever been seen." Who's the fools? I think it's the bear and the rabbit. Let's see. "And the fools that I saw were none other than you, who seem to have nothing else better to do than sit here and argue who's better than who." Then the little worm gave his head a small jerk, and he dived in his hole and went back to work. The end. So the worm was telling that the bear and the rabbit were just, what are you trying to do? You're trying to say you're better than the other, and the other's trying to say you're better than them. However, the worm said he was better than them, and he got to see all the way around the world. So that's way more than 690 miles. But all of them were bragging about how good they are. And that is a trait that is not very good to boast about. Like, "Oh, I'm this good. Oh, I'm this good." No, because then that's going to come back on you. So people do not like when you boast about how good you are. They'd rather you just show them, and then they'll see how good you are. All right, if you liked that book, there's plenty more Dr. Seuss books I have on videos, so please check them all out, along with some other books that I've been starting to read here since the end of towards last year. If you guys want me to read a book, please message me. Check the link below through Facebook. It's called Lola's Enchanted Bookshelf. It's the page that correlates with this YouTube channel. There you can message me. If you would like for me to read a book, message me through there as well, and I'll give you a shout out with your name if you want, or the child that you want me to give a shout out to once I've read the book, if I haven't read it yet. Also, in the links below are places where you can purchase items that I hand make. Some items I'm starting to hand make things that relate with books that I've been starting to read, such as like dinosaurs and Dr. Seuss. I've made different things. If you want a book and you're buying a book for a child or even an adult, and you want maybe a bag that it can go in as a gift bag made out of cloth, or something else that can relate to the book, message me through Facebook if you don't see it on any of the platforms that I do sell items, and I can actually hand make it as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you all next time. Bye.